Hey everybody, welcome to episode 9 of the Thought Bubbles series. I guess as like a couple of things because I always have a couple of things to say apparently before I start all of these. Yes, I have new glasses that are old but technically new and I just never wore. Shout out the Stallions jersey, bought a 241 in this exact jersey. So hopefully it'll also I don't know if it enhances like my ability to think or whatever, but it does something. So uh shout out the Stallions, I guess. And third thing, which is a bit more serious, is I wanted to give a quick shout out to Amanda, who is someone who has been watching my videos since the start. She's starting her own series and ended up shouting me out, which was kind of cool. I mean, it's not necessarily like the goal of this series is to like get people to like follow me or whatever, like also make videos of their own, but it's kind of cool that like me going on this journey of basically becoming a better talker of yeah, we need to practice, but like you know what I mean, like going on this journey of kind of video journaling and kind of documenting things that and talking about things that I care about has kind of inspired people to make their own series and do their own thing. So I'll link her channel below. She's starting her own series. I'll be watching. Hopefully, you guys will be watching too. But yeah, the topic of today's video has to do with something that I mentioned in the birthday video that I filmed. I filmed that on the 12th. I'm filming this a little bit later, but um, basically one of the things that I wanted to talk about is being genuine to yourself. And I think it's so hard because especially in like the age of social media when you go on reels or whatever, right? Like I had this talk recently with some of my friends about the idea of like looks maxing and whatever, but it's like you kind of have like all of these things and ideas being thrown at you that like you need to be a certain way or like you need to like eat a certain way, work out as like a specific amount of times, do like this, take this, and it's like you're kind of in doing so, like if you just like listen to what everyone thinks that you should be, kind of in a sense lose yourself. And I think this was something that happened to me a while ago, not necessarily because of like a social media thing, but it was more so of a like I used to I think I've mentioned this like a 90,000 times, but like I used to be like a really big like people pleaser type of person. I think especially in middle school and high school, I was very much the person where I kind of needed everybody to like me, and if someone had a problem or whatever, I kind of didn't know how to react in that sense. And like it became more so of like not necessarily like what did like I it just basically became like a blame game of like I felt like I wasn't good enough, and then like that I needed to change something about myself to like fit their agenda or fit what they wanted me to be. And then so in that sense I kind of like ended up not, I guess, following a lot of things that I was passionate about or kind of letting other people basically just dictate who I am. And that's as you might expect from a lot of things that I've mentioned before, but that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Like you should always just do things because you want to do them and not because other people want you to do them, or like what's it called, like, or like in the case that I mentioned earlier, right, of like social media for example, like just because like influencer X tells you that like you should spend 40 hours a week reading doesn't mean you have to do 40 hours of reading a week to be like ultra successful. Like that's not how it works. There's not like a, I think, for a couple reasons. One, like just because like someone online tells you, it's like the, if someone tells you to jump off the bridge, would you do it? You know what I mean? Like, and it's not obviously that extreme, but I think in a sense you should, if you want to read, do it because you want to read and you find it enjoyable and you get like your own personal fulfillment and value out of it, rather than you know to be successful and make whatever money amount or x y and z to like fit in some sort of bubble that like you have to do something that someone else wants you to, because they're basically projecting their belief system onto you, which I feel like one is unhealthy in the first place because you shouldn't be doing that. And as the person, like for me, I'm kind of giving my takes, but I don't want it to just be like, just because I said like take an hour break when you're studying doesn't mean like you should like everybody has to take an hour break. Like putting that idea out there for me personally as like the person giving it to you is already unhealthy. But I think the biggest thing too is just that like um what was I trying to say? Like I think just having like a general kind of one size fits all solution is also unhealthy to preach. I think both as like someone who's like preaching it and then also receiving the message, like just because it works for someone else doesn't necessarily it's gonna work mean it's gonna like work for you. Like there's no one size fits all solution to literally any problem in life. Like always it's going to depend on your situation as an individual yourself, and the best person who knows you is you yourself. And so yes, it's nice to I think get advice from people on things, but at the end of the day it's like you need to kind of have your own belief system and have your own set of ideologies of like what you feel fulfilled with or what you deem kind of like what it means to be successful, and then based on your own like situation and values to go chase it, if that makes sense. Like I think a lot of times that in my life I'm still like recovering from this because I was always just like the, you know, if someone was like, let's just say, I mean I've said it already, but like you know what I mean, like I think there's been so many times in the past where I've been kind of just chasing an ideology, and what it led to was kind of like when anyone had like a debate topic, whether it's like, oh, like what's something that's like debatable, even if it's like something small of like ice cream flavors, right? Of like we had a discussion a long time ago about mint chocolate chip ice cream, and it was basically one group is loves mint chocolate chip, great ice cream flavor. Other side is like it tastes like toothpaste. Why would you ever eat this, right? And then for a while I think in the past my answer would just be like whatever the highest amount of people like would agree with me, I would just go to that side. I know, right? It sounds awful, and it is awful because it's like if you just go that side or like go to the side with the most people or just kind of like try to people please or crowd please or do whatever, right? Like you don't actually like have your own set of beliefs. And so a lot of times when that gets tested and you're on your own and you have to make your own decisions, a lot of times it can get, I think, pretty dangerous if you don't have your own like kind of set of ideas that you can stand on and be like, you know, like for example, like I think one core tenet of my life that I think that I can stand on is honesty. And like I have like a very like almost zero tolerance policy for like dishonest people in my life. And that's why I'm like really lucky, I think, to have the friends that I have now, because I think when you actually do end up trying to people please or like you don't have your own set of beliefs and you kind of just follow whatever the norm is or whatever social media tells you, then you end up with a lot of people who do the same thing pretty much. It's kind of like you attract what like you give off. And so by doing that I kind of had for a while a lot of friends that like didn't really fit what made me comfortable, and a lot of times when we would go for hangouts I would be like really uncomfortable because like the stuff they would say or stuff they would do like really kind of didn't align with who I wanted to be or like what I actually wanted to be personally. And so when I stopped doing that and then I started kind of figuring out, okay, like this is what I really want to look for in a friend, irregardless of like whether they're like popular or whatever, like follower, whatever, you know what I mean? Like once I kind of had a set group of beliefs, that's when I think I found a friend group that really understood me for who I was and made me feel seen. And kind of in that, like, made what most people would consider like lifelong friends. Basically, like, I mean, we've basically been friends since junior, senior year of high school, is kind of when I started hanging out with them. And we've been friends ever since through college and now into like our professional lives. Like, even though some of them are still on the US mainland and I'm over here in Hawaii, right? Like, even through time zones, one of them's in Japan. Like, even through all of that, like we're still keeping in contact. We're still good friends. Like, if we had like a get together like tomorrow, everyone would show up. You know what I mean? If they could, of course. But I think have all of that is only really possible because I kind of figured out like what did I personally want in a friend and what did I want, and basically went out there and like looked for that and chased that. And so I think that's super important, is kind of like the energy that you put out kind of almost finds its way back to you. Like if you are just kind of, I don't know if fake's the right word, but like if you just follow the crowd, you're gonna get a lot of people who just kind of do the same thing, or like end up with people that are mismatched with you in terms of personality or interests. And then a lot of times, if you once you start, like, putting your foot down and saying this is what I want in a friend, or this is what I'm looking for in X, Y, and Z, a lot of times, like, you'll find opportunities to meet those people, or you'll find opportunities to be able to like you basically have the power, and you kind of like reclaim that for yourself. And then once you have that, and like you have the decision making, then that's like, you kind of end up attracting people who think more like, or who are more like the things that you're looking for in life, which is like, for me and my friend group, I think we're all pretty open-minded people when it comes to like making decisions. And I think we're all pretty open and honest with each other. And I mentioned it in the previous video where I think it's the birthday one, but basically it's kind of like we're all willing to hold each other accountable. And I think we're all pretty open and honest with like how we're feeling about life in general, or how like our emotions are doing, which is kind of rare, I think, for guys. But it shouldn't be, but it is, unfortunately. But I think that was kind of like something that I look for, and I ended up finding like the right group of people for sure. So I guess in conclusion to all of this, be yourself. I think don't be afraid of standing out in a crowd. Don't be afraid of like, if you have like that classroom game where like everyone, if you want, like, left side of the room is vanilla ice cream, right side of the room is chocolate ice cream. Like, don't be afraid to be the one person that goes to like one side. You know what I mean? Like, have some set of personal beliefs and values, and like stick to it, and then chase it. You know what I mean? Like, don't just chase like friends or people or money just because like the internet tells you, or because like social society wants you to. Like, do it because you want to chase the things that you find valuable in your life. And I think it'll lead to not only what you kind of envision for yourself coming true, but also, and the same token, like you're gonna feel more fulfilled personally, I think, because if you don't have any morals and you're just people pleasing, like, even if you make more friends, it's so temporary and it's so fleeting, and you don't actually end up like being feeling fulfilled internally by just like having people be okay with you existing. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think it's for sure a work in progress. It is hard. Even like now, I'm still trying to like work on it, because like it's very easy as a reflex just to be like, oh yeah, this is fine, or like whatever, or like just push your boundaries, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a work in progress, but I'm trying to be less afraid of standing out, and being less afraid of being cringe or whatever, and then just kind of doing things that I find enjoyable or I find valuable. Hence why I'm doing this, for example, because it's something I've been passionate about. But it's like, you know putting your thoughts and feelings about things on the internet is like kind of scary, and like some people might think it's cringe, but I find the value in it. And so far it's been pretty enjoyable for me just to make these videos and kind of yap and hang out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, you know what I mean, the whole drill. I don't gotta tell you guys twice. But if you want to hear more, and of course, as I mentioned, I'll throw Amanda's channel in the description. So if you kind of want to hear her takes on maybe some things that I've talked about, I don't know what exactly like her topics are going to be, but I will definitely be listening. And it's nice to see that people are joining on this journey. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See y'all for the next one.